moving over. So, I think this is a really interesting question, and I am very interested in your responses to it. Upholding your oath of office while maintaining independence from external influences is essential for serving constituents. How will you strike a balance between working cooperatively with other electeds and preserving your independence to keep people's interests first and foremost? And I'm going to start in the middle of the table with Spencer Hudson.
Well, this is something I've talked about. I mean, everybody knows who the oath police are, right? You guys, are you familiar with those guys that enforce the oath of office to make sure nobody breaks their oath of office? Yeah, there's not one. People just, they seem to take it, unless you were in the military or you were in law enforcement, it seems like most people don't take it seriously at all. So it would be nice if people did take it more seriously, in my opinion. It would be nice if people took it seriously to tell the public the truth. You know, Obama signed away the government's ability to the restriction of the government not to propagandize to people back when he was in office. And ever since then, I mean, we've been getting propagandized to pretty heavily. And that makes it like it's okay for the government employees to lie to us. You know, it's okay for them to tell us falsehoods. And nothing seems to happen to them for it. You know, they can just say whatever they want to us. And I think that needs to stop.
Let's go to Cornell.
So when I ran for commissioner the second time, and you guys are just going to have to indulge me, you've heard this story 37 times, but I had a constituent offer to basically fund my whole campaign. And when I met him at his office, which had tea tables and big screen TVs. I think a big screen TV back then was like 40 inches, but it was pretty amazing to me. And he asked me, so how much do you think this campaign's going to cost? 15? And I thought, 1,500, that's a lot of money. And he said, no, 15,000. And I was still learning diplomacy, and I don't know if I'm ever going to learn it. So I turned to him and I said, you do realize your money buys you do realize your money buys signs, it doesn't buy me. And he never did contribute to my campaign. I answer to God first. I answer to you second. And I better say the same thing to him that I say to you. I intend to say the same thing to him that I will say to you. The only way you can police it is by my voting record, and by seeing how I act in public, and by asking my wife.
So, 20 years ago, Rand Paul libertarians and Tea Party movement folks tried to get their own party started. They failed, but they did find a home in conservative Republican circles. There's an organization that rates how legislators vote on certain things, but they don't rate all of the bills. They rate a select few of those bills to prop up their constituents in a way to show them as favorable, and those that they don't like or agree with show as disfavorable. At the end of the day, I don't care what people think about me. As an Army chaplain, I cannot be concerned about what my commander thought of me. I needed to declare the truth to my commander so that he did not fail his soldiers. I'm here to stand to let you know that you have my ear. I'm here to represent you. I'm not here to represent a special interest group. Thank you.
Let's go to Senator Herndon.
Well, the voting record for me shows clearly who I'm representing. Let's talk about Bayer. Bayer Corporation, major agrochemical and pharmaceutical company, gave $1,500 donations to Senate and House leadership at the beginning of January and the end of December. Then they had Senate leadership carry their bill to protect Bayer from Roundup lawsuits, because Bayer had bought Monsanto in 2018, made a business bet, and has lost major jury awards. What they wanted from the Senate and the House was they wanted a bill to protect them in Idaho from Roundup lawsuits, and they also have 800 employees in southeastern Idaho. That's a special interest. And I actually stood up against Bayer, and they would make major donations to me if I stood for them, but I stood up for you guys and your right to go toe-to-toe against major corporations in a court of law. And we beat Bayer on the floor by 2 votes in the Senate. So then what did they do? They ran over to the House, tried another version there, came back to the Senate, and continued to put pressure on senators and your representatives. But we held them off, and they want a guy in who will say yes to the corporations. That's what this game is about. I will stand for you.
I plan to focus on the things that matter to my constituents. My phone number has always been available through this whole campaign. My email, everything, they can contact me. I love it when they contact me. So I think that though I don't have a voting record, I think that when I do have a voting record, should I get elected, it will reflect the things that I portrayed during my campaign. Thank you.
I'm gonna give everybody 30 additional seconds if you need them or want them.
So I kind of got off on not lying to folks, which is a big thing for me, not lying to folks, but just to make sure it's clear, I intend to represent you guys. You know, I don't intend to represent anybody else. If you look at who my donations come from, it's mostly from you folks and places like Stop Idaho Rhinos, organizations like that. So I'm here to represent you, not anybody else.
I'll just save some time. Ditto.
Same.
Reading a story that somebody's heard. Yes, sir.
Can I add 30 seconds as a follow-up to something someone else said?
You sure can.
I want to talk about bill ratings for a moment. When I get to the desk, Chuck Loman's talking about Idaho Freedom Foundation. They rate more bills than anybody else. But when I get to my desk on the Senate floor, I have AgriPac, which is Farm Bureau. I have the Wheat and Barley Pack. I have food producers. I have IACI, the Idaho Association of Commerce and Industry. And they all rate bills. The Idaho Association of Cities, the Association of Counties, they all rate bills. Everybody does. So don't think that's the problem. The problem is when corporations try to leverage your legislature to benefit themselves. That's the problem. That's where you need representatives who represent individual people in their districts, like you guys.
All right,
So I get 30 seconds?
yes.
So though I appreciate Mr. Herndon's comment, there is a very clear group that has an agenda to push on the Republican Party. And they have sought to change that over the years. Some of us want the Republican Party of years ago, and that's what I represent. I represent a traditional conservative in my view. That being said, I've made it clear that I'm not here to represent a caucus or a foundation. I'm here to represent the voter. That's what the founders intended, and that's what I'm here to do.